Most of us remember these actors for their movies. I mean, come on. When you think of an actor, you think about that iconic role they played, or that hit blockbuster movie, or just the fact that they're Hollywood success stories. But what most of us tend to forget is that it didn't happen overnight for them. For these actors, they actually started on a small screen on TV. Yeah, you heard me right. Some of these actors spent years on the TV, on the small screen. Other of them, hey, they blew up overnight once they made that transition. Either way, they know how to be successful on both spectrums. Now, quick disclaimer, we're not talking about actors that became successful in TV and in film. We're talking about today actors that became movie stars. And today, we're looking at 8 actors that went from a big fish in a small pond and took that giant leap and not only became a big fish in a big pond. So let's see how many of these actors you remember that were on the small screen. Tom Hanks. You know, we're talking about Forrest Gump, Woody from Toy Story, Philadelphia, Big, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, the list of movies goes on and on with him. But what a lot of us tend to forget is that he didn't start on the big screen. No, he actually got his origin story on the small screen, playing a crossdresser. The show was Bosom Buddies, a sitcom where it followed 2 men that disguised themselves as women so they could live in the affordable women-only apartment building. Now, as strange as this premise sounded, and we know this would probably be canceled in today's modern era, it gave us an early look into Tom Hanks with his charm and personality. And even though the show Bosom Buddies only lasted for 2 seasons, it was more than enough to open the door to Tom Hanks, which included 2 Academy Awards, countless box office hits, and I mean, come on, his name is synonymous with one of the most respected actors in this industry. I mean, not bad for a guy who got to start wearing a dress. Denzel Washington, arguably one of the finest actors in today's era. Now, I know, when you think of him, you probably think of so many of his films like Remember the Titans, Training Day, The Equalizer, or Malcolm X. I mean, if I left one out, can you blame me? But nonetheless, what we don't remember is that before he was winning all of his awards, and he won a few, well, he was also on the small screen practicing medicine. Well, I mean, television medicine. Denzel got his start playing Dr. Philip Chandler on the TV drama St. Elsewhere, where he spent 6 seasons honing his craft, being able to develop his on-screen presence and that charisma that we all know him for. But unlike some actors that struggle to make that jump, no, not for Denzel. When he took that leap, it wasn't just a small leap. He dominated as he was able to garner 2 Academy Awards and obviously many blockbuster hits. I mean, quite frankly, he's one of the greatest of all time. He could be the GOAT. Or is he? You let me know in the comment section. Not bad for a guy that didn't even write a prescription. Robin Williams. He entertained us for decades, and for some of us, he was a major part of our childhood. I mean, I'm talking about films like Dead Poets Society, Aladdin, Mrs. Doubtfire, Good Will Hunting, Hook, Birdcage, just to name a few. But sometimes it takes a very special actor to come from outer space and become a star. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's what I'm talking about. Before Robin ever became one of the most beloved actors in our time, he started as an alien named Mork on the TV show Mork and Mindy. As strange as the character was, people flocked to Robin's quick wit, boundless energy, and I mean, come on, he made us laugh. And with all that said, well, sure, Hollywood took notice right away and snatched him up. And what followed was just one of the most remarkable careers in entertainment history, as it garnered him an Academy Award, multiple Golden Globes, but I think more importantly, the admiration of his fans and his peers. Not bad for a visitor that came from another planet and eventually went back home. George Clooney. I mean, when we talk about Clooney, you probably think right away. Ocean's 11, Syriana, Up in the Air, Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou? Or, of course, he is one of Hollywood's sexiest men alive. But before he started stealing scenes, Clooney spent years on TV. His big break came as Dr. Doug Ross on the TV drama ER, where his charm and charisma quickly made him a fan favorite. And even with a successful TV role, well, that's just not enough for Clooney, because when he made the transition onto the big screen, he just had to be one of Hollywood's most successful actors, directors, and producers. Of course you did, Clooney. And of course, along the way, he won an Academy Award and he was able to draw money when he starred in any film. Not only that, he became the sexiest man alive, not just once, but twice. Success, success, success. Okay, we get it, Clooney. You had it all. Let's move on. Bruce Willis. Obviously, nobody dies harder than Bruce. Not to mention his other films like The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Armageddon, Pulp Fiction. I mean, we're talking about one of the most recognizable actors in our time. And I mean, looking back, there's no surprise that Bruce could play a cop. I mean, his TV roots already had him pointing in that direction. But before becoming John McClane, Bruce Willis did play a private dick, David Addison, on the hit TV show Moonlighting. Now, of course, while the show focused on a detective agency, it was Bruce Willis's quick wit, charm, and larger-than-life personality that made him stand out. You just couldn't avoid it. And of course, when you have this kind of package going on, well, Hollywood's just gonna snatch you up and take you on the road to fame. But what made Bruce different is when he went for action, he looked human. I mean, when you talk about Die Hard, we're talking about him getting beaten down, injured. I mean, the man walked on glass in bare feet. So when you look at that, it kind of makes you root for him more. Because quite frankly, I think this is the first time we saw an action hero look ordinary. And he was just trapped in an extraordinary situation. But what makes Bruce Willis's transition so impressive is the fact that he wasn't even on the list of actors for the Die Hard franchise. But here we are, talking about him as he carried it on his back. Hey, not bad for a guy who eventually traded investigations for explosions. John Travolta, from Pulp Fiction, Grease, Saturday Night Fever, also the voice of Bolt and Look Who's Talking. He spent decades entertaining us on the big screen. But before that ever came about, he was already a star on the TV hit Welcome Back Kotter as Vinnie Barbarino. It seemed John garnered good grades on that show because his rise to the top was quick. He was the it guy in the 70s, and he became one of the most recognizable faces in the world. But unlike most of the actors on this list, John's success was not a straight line. In fact, after a while, especially in the 80s, his career started to dip down. And a lot of people in Hollywood wondered if his best years were behind him. But then came Pulp Fiction. That film changed everything as it resurrected his career. Not only that, it garnered him an Academy Award nod, and more importantly, it introduced him to a new generation of moviegoers. We're talking about hits like Get Shorty and Face Off. After all that time, he just proved that he had a second wind, and he was going to go all the way with it. From a quick rising heartthrob to a second chance icon, John just proved that the best comeback stories are the ones you just don't see coming. Michael J. Fox. Let's just say, he may have been a teen wolf, but quite frankly, we all know him as Marty McFly on the Back to the Future franchise. But before traveling through time on that DeLorean, Michael was already making us laugh every week on the small screen. Fox got his start playing Alex Keaton on Family Ties, as he was a young conservative, always at economical and political odds with his hippie parents. He became one of the most memorable TV characters of the 80s, and quite frankly, solidified him as a household name. This is how good he was. On a Back to the Future franchise, the first movie, he was not even going to be in it. But the person that they cast afterwards wasn't cutting it. There was no spark. So they had to wait for his schedule to free up so he could play Marty McFly. That's just how good of an actor he was. But what makes Michael's story so unique is he did something that the others on this list just didn't do. He went back to TV. And when he went back, he found himself as the role as Mike Flaherty in Spin City. And guess what? In the 4 seasons that he starred in it, he became a success yet again. No surprise, right? Because while most actors spend their time trying to master one medium, Michael J. Fox went 1, 2, and then back, mastered both. Not bad for a guy who traveled through time and still found a way to come back. Sally Field. That's right, the lone woman on this list. From her roles in Forrest Gump, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Amazing Spider-Man, Norma Ray, and Places in the Heart, Sally Field built one of the most respected careers in Hollywood history. But what many of us fail to realize is that Sally didn't start on the big screen. No, her roots started a little more heavenly. Long before becoming a 2-time Oscar winner, Sally Field found herself on the TV comedy The Flying Nun. The Flying Nun? Well, it ran for 3 seasons, so it must have been good, but it also introduced all of us to one of the most successful actresses in our time. The Flying Nun. Okay. Now, while many actors do dream about a successful transition from TV to film, when it came to Sally, well, she far surpassed her TV success because she did win 2 Academy Awards. I'm sure many of you were wondering, who was the lone woman on this list? Well, sometimes the best reveals are worth waiting for, and Sally Field is no exception. Whether she was flying or simply acting, she always seemed to soar. Whether they started out big, found their glory, went back to the future, or proved that they were unbreakable, these actors accomplished something that few ever do. And for those of you wondering if TV actors can become movie stars, well, look who's talking now. I'm Joey Cruz, and that's a wrap.